So our next reader is Vince Vieceli. A little bit about Vince. He's been a fan of comedy since seeing reruns of the Dick Van Dyke Show as a kid, but his comedy career really started in college when he submitted jokes to comedian Dennis Miller, who used them on Weekend Updates, his Weekend Update segment on Saturday Night Live. After some encouragement from Miller, Vince became a stand-up in the 1990s, working with comedians like Ellen DeGeneres, White, Joe Rogan, among others. Though he was a performer, he always considered himself a writer. With fellow comedian Bill Brady, he wrote Stand-Up Comedy in Chicago, the first book about the history of stand-up comedy in Chicago. Now retired, Vince is working on his first book of humorous essays. So please welcome him to the mic here.
Thank you guys so much. Let me grab, I'll put the water on the floor. How does that sound? All right. First of all, thank you for having me, you guys, and thank you guys for coming out to hear me read. I'm going to read from you a selection from a book I'm working on. I hope I have it done by the end of the year. The title of the book is called By Any Stretch of the Imagination, 21 humorous essays that'll make you think differently about 2 of them. This one's called From a Distance, One Man's Riff on Skunks. I believe it was Abe Lincoln who said what kills a skunk is the publicity it gives itself. With respect to Mr. Lincoln, nothing seems to kill a skunk. For the past 2 summers, I've received more publicity than a cyclops trying to use binoculars. I'm concerned that what's happening is a repeat of the early 2000s, when Illinois saw its skunk population rise 7 times in 8 years, including an 18% jump from 2007 to 2008. Well, that's what was reported. The numbers aren't exact because the Illinois Department of Natural Resources relied on skunk roadkill to determine the state's skunk population. In non-government speak, it means they relied on skunk roadkill to determine the number of live skunks in the state, which doesn't seem right. Using that math, the maiden voyage of the Titanic was a success. And I understand that ratios are an alternative to counting each and every skunk in the state, but skunks seem like the kind of critter you want an accurate number on. After all, we could be knee-deep in skunks for realizing they learned to cross the road. Or stop trying altogether. Because I'm on the front line again, I should check to see if the state uses ratios still and what the ratio is. Is it for every 2 skunks that made it, 8 didn't? Otherwise known as the Jackson family ratio? Or is it 1 in 3, the Baldwin brothers? In my neighborhood, the math that works best is probability. For example, in all probability, a skunk will visit me while I'm sleeping, and he reeks, arriving at my house like Santa Claus with a full diaper. If you've never experienced such a joyous occasion, allow me to recreate it for you. It's summer, nighttime. Your air conditioner's been cranking all day, so you give it a rest and open the windows to let the cool night air in. Things are peaceful and quiet as you climb into your soft bed and lower your head onto a fluffy pillow. Soon you're asleep, deep asleep. And during this restful sleep, you come upon a happy dream, a wonderful dream. In fact, the dream is so good, you don't understand why your brain is telling you to smile. But then your brain says, no, stupid, I told you to smell. Oh my God. In my experience, this is what's called a WTF moment. You know what that means? That's right, what's that fragrance? Now here's where the fun starts. Because it's 2 o'clock in the morning and a skunk has just dusted oven in your own home. Your first instinct would be to run around the house and shut all the windows, which isn't a dumb move, but it's not a smart one either because you just trapped the smell in your house. Without thinking, you created that WTF moment we talked about earlier. Moving beyond self-disgust, you try a second approach. You try this approach. Open the bedroom windows, turn the ceiling fan on high, and head back to bed where you cover your face with a pillow. Again, not bad, but not good, because what you fail to realize is the ceiling fan is forcing half the odor out the window and the other half into your house. Where, as you'll find in the morning, it's in the couch cushions and the curtains. Oh, and your dog has a few questions for you too. Obviously, you need a better long-term option because the scene I just described occurred in the spring. And stinky Santa's bringing you gifts all summer long. One option is leave the air conditioning on all night. That could get expensive. A cheaper option is to turn the air off, leave the windows open, and pretend you have sleep apnea so you can use a mask on your face. I own 2 masks. One for the house and one for the car because when I'm driving, I always seem to come across mile marker number Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. It's especially frustrating because I've never hit a skunk, but I'm always punished as if I did. Wrongfully convicted, my sentence lasts either 1 block or 1 mile. It all depends on how soon I can find fresh air. In the meantime, though, I have to make my way through a cloud of stench like Andy Dufresne in Shawshank Redemption. Nighttime encounters are the worst because I never see the dead skunk by the road. Nothing is there until suddenly it is. One time I got so fed up that I asked the universe, if you must surprise me with something I'm driving, could it please be my own airbag? I don't care if the air inside smells like a mattress from the Motel 6. Just hit me with it. Daytime encounters with skunks are always better. Actually, I prefer them. I think they're amusing because I usually see the carcass ahead of time, but the drivers in the car next to me don't. Therefore, I get to look over and see the startled faces see their startled faces. One lady looked so surprised you would have thought the skunk bit her too. If I had any business sense, I'd do what roller coaster operators have done and install cameras by the side of the road to capture all the surprised looks on drivers' faces. Then I'd open a store, invite people in, and sell the pictures back to them. And how about you, sir? I have tons of photos. Which one's yours? There should be 2, taken about 30 minutes apart. In the first one, I'm in the car by myself. I got it right here, sir. And the second one? Well, it's kind of like the first one, except this time, I brought the wife. Yeah, that explains the horrified look on her face, the big smile on yours. Yeah, it's a beauty. Say, would you mind framing it? Recently, I adopted a different mindset while driving. Basically, what I do is I tolerate the odor and remind myself that's the skunk's way of defending itself, which every living thing has a right to do. I can hate the odor as much as I want, but I must respect an animal's right to protect itself. Since adopting this attitude, the results have been mixed. Skunks, of course, have poor eyesight, so I'm still not thrilled that such a weapon belongs to the Mr. Magoo of the animal kingdom. On the positive side, I'm beginning to admire what skunks do. In these tech-heavy times, it's kind of genius. Think about it. To defend themselves, skunks rely on odor. Good old-fashioned, self-produced odor. Odor that's so obnoxious, breathable fabric wishes it wasn't. You'd think a weapon like odor would be more popular, but it's not. No one uses odor nowadays. Nobody. Not people, not insects, not even the famous corpse flower. The corpse flower uses odor to attract things, like flies and beetles. Sometimes I get overexcited and wonder if we should applaud skunks for having the foresight to pick such a defense. It couldn't have been easy. Imagine all the snickers and cockeyed looks they got when the animal kingdom gathered to divvy up self-defense mechanisms. I imagine it went something like this. Lion. All right, if everyone will take a seat, we'll get started. Picking first today are the deer. We'll take antlers. Excellent pick. Next up, porcupines. Sharp quills! Sharp quills! Yes! All right, your enthusiasm is duly noted. I'm not sure why, though. I mean, I'm using a quill to write them selections down, and no one's backing away from me. Anyway, moving on, snakes. We'll go with venom. Another good choice. Excellent pick. In fact, we lions are thinking of taking that one ourselves. Let's see. Skunks. It's your pick. Really? Yes. Oh, wow. 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 I got to be honest. We didn't think this one would be available. It was our turn to pick. So on that note, we're very excited to take invisible repulsive odor. I'm sorry, did you say invisible repulsive odor? Yes, sir. That's not even on my list. It's near the bottom, sir, right above Play Dead. Other than the bugs on my lawn, I don't know why skunks come to my house. If it's simply because there's more of them, then the great horned owls need to step it up. They're one of the few animals that hunt and eat skunks, doing so because they themselves lack a sense of smell. I'd call the state of Illinois to see how many great horned owls there are. They live throughout North America. But what good would it do me? Illinois would just tell me the number of live owls based on dead ones. Besides, I'm not sure I want to know the number of great horned owls in my area. Knowing it would make me paranoid, and I'm only paranoid when there's good reason. Here it's because I've watched enough wildlife documentaries to know that even when the odds are in the predator's favor, they don't always succeed. A mishap here, a mishap there, and a would-be meal goes free. Who's to say then that a great horned owl flying back to the nest won't lose its grip on a skunk? I worry about such things because if you think driving past a dead skunk at night is bad, imagine one coming through the sunroof. Thank you guys very much for your time.